You are Locked On Clippers POSTCAST. Part of Locked On Sports Los Angeles on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up? Welcome to the Locked On Clippers postcasts on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. I am Pete Fox, covering sports in LA dating back to 2007 for ESPN LA and NBC Sports Radio. Today's episode of the Locked On Clippers postcast, which, by the way, you can download on the Locked On Clippers podcast feed. It's brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Well, that one was a little bit surprising, but in the end, not so much. End of a long roadie. It was only 4 games, but it took them from Phoenix to Canada. So a lot of traveling every other day during that roadie. Anytime there's a long distance traveled, it can be challenging. 4 games is not a ton on a road trip, but it's enough, especially when you're traveling those distances. And they were clearly smelling the barn. This one, as the excuse train rolls into town, was a schedule loss. Let's be honest. The Raptors came out to play. The Raptors have been going well of late, having won 7 of their last 9 coming in, now 8 of their last 10. They're just hot right now, and they showed it from beyond the arc. 52%. We haven't seen that from an opponent in a while. 13 of 25. They started out the game hot, and they kind of never really let off the gas. I mean, the Clippers had a 2-point lead for the blink of an eye, and that was about it. In the first, the Raptors were shooting 80% from the floor and 100% from beyond the arc. They started off 4 for 4. And I watched at that point thinking, you know, the Clippers just don't have a ton of energy, a ton of excitement, a ton of want to in this game right now. But it felt like if they kind of just kept after it a little bit, the Raptors would let up. Usually when a team starts off that hot shooting the ball, they don't keep it up for an entire game. You think, well, here's the good news. They did it now in the first quarter and the second quarter. By the third quarter, the Clippers will get warmed up, get it rolling, get back into the game. That was not the case. The third quarter was the disaster for the Clippers, where they just completely came unraveled and were outscored in the third 31-16. Not defending the break were the Clippers. Missed shots by LA turned into easy buckets for Toronto. Everything that really could go wrong did. The one good thing, I guess you could say, was the turnovers weren't a major issue. Generally, when the Clippers fall apart and lose, the turnovers are a big part of it. I mean, James Harden only had 2. They had 10 on the day, 4 of which were from Kawhi Leonard, which is also rare. I mean, just a lot of sort of discombobulated stuff. Now, did that have anything to do with the fact that the trade between the Lakers and the Jazz? I'm sorry, the Lakers also made a trade, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. But the Clippers and the Jazz, Mo Bamba and PJ Tucker to Utah for old man Mills, Patty Mills, who's been in the league as long as James Harden, 16, 17 years, but can still shoot. And Drew Eubanks, who is 6'9" and a backup center, and maybe he's a little bit more of an enforcer down in the paint than Mo Bamba was. PJ Tucker, I didn't even know he was still on the team. Haven't seen him in the lineup all season. I guess they just had control of him and they traded him. So I guess that's good for the Clippers. For whatever reason, Ty Lue did not like PJ Tucker. I never got the real story there, never found out what was up. But they played him occasionally at the end of last season, and he would come in off the bench and provide energy and be an enforcer. And he always played with a ton of heart, a ton of energy, and had the opportunity or had the energy rather when he came into the game, and a good attitude. But it just, they never gave him a real real shake, if you asked me. I don't know why, but there's clearly something going on there. Never got the whole story, but he is now a Utah Jazz. Norm Powell out. That was obviously another big part of this where I just felt like the Clippers were phoning it in. You know, it's fine. It's a road loss against a team that is not very good, but playing well right now. And as Brian Seaman pointed out multiple times, have a nice nucleus and are, kind of through the really bad stuff that the Washington Wizards and the Utah Jazz are going through right now, trying to, rebuild. The Raptors have done that. They've got some nice pieces, and they're a good young team. Their nucleus is averaging like 23 years old. So they're going in the right direction. And the Clippers didn't have a whole lot on the line tonight. Again, end of a 4-game long road trip, heading home today. They will play the Lakers on Tuesday, who, if you didn't hear, traded Anthony Davis to the Dallas Mavericks for Luka Doncic. And I, like everybody else that watches basketball, said, what? Why? From the Dallas Mavericks perspective, why would you make that deal? I'm surprised that LeBron James traded away Anthony Davis. It makes no sense to me. It's very crazy. I think a lot of it had to do with contracts and the Supermax eligibility, etc. So it was more of a financial move for the Mavs, I think, than it was anything else. Mavs may be trying to improve defensively. The Lakers obviously now have gotten considerably worse defensively, trading away Anthony Davis for Luka Doncic, who's not known for his defense. That dude's a shooter, let's be honest. But look, he's the future of the Lakers now. I mean, LeBron's done. How many more years can this guy play? 1, 2? I mean, maybe. I mean, he's fantastic for his age and in astounding shape at 40 plus. So the fact that he's still around is a miracle and amazing. But how much longer can it go on? So our guy, Dave Pillay, who does the Locked On Lakers postcast. He and I were texting last night. He said he's hearing rumors that Austin Reeves and LeBron could potentially be traded. And my response to that was, that's weird. Why would LeBron trade himself? It doesn't make any sense unless it has something to do with Bronny and, he's whoever LeBron's talking to says, hey, if you come here, fill in the blank team, we'll let Bronny play more. So maybe LeBron's like, okay, I got a year or two left. Got my rings. We're good. I'm going to move on. And hopefully that, deal could help the Lakers become better. So it'd be a win-win. My buddies and I were texting, and they were hearing that LeBron heard about it on the internet, just like all the rest of us, in a text or a social media post. And I'm like, BS. There is no way that's true. That's what LeBron always says. Whenever there's a deal that kind of makes you scratch your head and go, what? That doesn't make a lot of sense. And LeBron's somehow involved in it or related to it, he always goes, I heard about it on the internet, just like you did. No chance. BS, not buying it. There is no way in hell the Lakers do anything on the floor or off without running it through LeBron. It's just obvious. There is a protocol in the Lakers right now that involves LeBron James. Doesn't matter what it is. LeBron has his say. LeBron throws in his 2 cents. There is no chance in hell that LeBron did not know that Luka Doncic was coming to the Lakers. There's no way. So if LeBron is traded somewhere else, believe me, he will be involved in how that deal goes down. So this one's weird. It's huge. It is surprising from the Dallas Mavericks perspective. It's obviously great for the Lakers. When LeBron is long gone and retired, Luka will still be there. He's a younger guy. What is he, 26, 28, something like that? It's good for the Lakers' future. So I'm not surprised that the Lakers made this deal, but I am surprised the Mavericks did. 25? Wow, it feels like he's been around forever. Probably has been around 7 years. So yeah, he's been in the league for quite a while, but only 25 years old. So that's going to be good for the Lakers long term. As for this Clippers deal, Mo Bamba and PJ Tucker to Utah for Patty Mills and Drew Eubanks. Okay, fine. I'm not offended by that. It'll be all right. Hopefully Drew Eubanks can play a little bit, get in the paint, throw his weight around, be an enforcer of sorts when Zoo is on the bench. After the break, we're going to talk about Zubac's game. We're also going to talk about what went wrong for them offensively in this 115-108 loss to the Raptors in Toronto. You don't say the second T in Toronto. You say Toronto. You don't say Toronto, as Lauren on the sideline was doing tonight. Again, 115-108 the final. 16-33 are the Raptors now. 12-14 at home. Clippers 28-21. 11-13 on the road after this loss. It's the Locked On Clippers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel. Of course, we appreciate you allowing us to be your source for your team every day. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Clippers postcast is brought to you by Game Time. Looking for tickets to the next big event, whether it's a concert or a comedy show or sports? Finding the right ticket at the right price can be a headache. For me, though, it's kind of fun. And part of that is because I like Game Time. I enjoy the hunt when it comes to finding a good deal on tickets. And Game Time always has pretty much the best deal you can find around. They do have a low price guarantee, and they have something called Game Time Picks. This app does some cool AI stuff for you, and it takes the work out of it for you. It curates the best deals around you and kind of knows what you're into, whether it's concerts, comedy, or sports. And it'll say, here's some stuff going on in your neighborhood, and here are the good deals. They also have views from your seat, which is awesome. So if you're trying to find a real deal, and if you think maybe going back a few rows or over a few sections might save you, could save you up to $40-50. The view from the seat will tell you whether or not it's worth it. So that's a huge part of what's going on and what makes Game Time very cool. I saw tickets for the next Kings home game, which is down the road pretty soon. I think this week they're back in LA, and they're like $40-50. So that's a good deal for tickets to go see the Kings at crypto.com. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets and use Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code LOCKEDONNBA. That's LOCKEDONNBA, $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app. What time is it? It's game time. Well, the Clippers just didn't have it in them tonight. Not the energy, not the excitement, not the want to that we're used to. They just kind of phoned it in. There was too much sloppy basketball. That's what it boiled down to for me. And just not enough passing the ball, not enough good looks at the basket, bad shots. Clippers led 6 times. I'm surprised to see that. I thought it was just that one time. Lead changes 17. It was pretty close in the first half. Tied at the break at 61, but the Raptors pulled out in the third with that big 31-16 quarter, and they led by as many as 18. Clippers' largest lead was 3 points in the paint to Toronto. It was close, though, 60-54. Second chance points. Toronto wins that category as well, 12-9. And this is one of the things that was just not good for the Clippers tonight. Defending the break. The Raptors were running all over them, especially in the third quarter. 28-15 fast break points to the Raptors. They just didn't have the energy. I don't know. They didn't have the desire to play defense. And the Raptors, yes, red hot from beyond the arc today. But the Clippers made it easy on them. Those half-hearted closeouts where they, just kind of wave their arms as the guy's shooting a wide open 3. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of closeout. There wasn't a lot of, defense being played by the Clippers, whether it was at the perimeter, whether it was in the paint. just all over the floor tonight. The defense just wasn't there. And, it's not surprising that they lost this one, again, as the excuse train rolls through town, because they are at the end of a road trip, ready to get home, and just kind of play this game half-heartedly, I think was the best way to describe it. There were too many ISO looks. They would drive down and get into the paint and realize that they had 2 or 3 guys in front of them blocking the basket. So they would kick to a guy who was half paying attention, and the pass was not a good pass. It all just seemed very improvised to me tonight. So I'm not terribly offended by this. Again, they played a good first half. In these games, you try to find some sort of bright spot and say, hey, was there, something in this game that we feel good about? Obviously, not having Norm on the floor was a big part of it for the Clippers. They definitely play better when Norm is around. I was a little surprised by the fact that Norm didn't play because he's a former Raptor, but they said he had some sort of hip issue, so that's why he sat. They had one look at the end of the first quarter, which was really nice. And anytime they have these looks, you feel good about the way they're playing, because this was a hard-fought point at right around the 3-minute mark of the first. They had 4 efforts at the basket. They missed a bunch of deep shots from 3, and then got the rebounds. And then Harden finally penetrated and got a layup. Clippers trailed at the end of 36-32. And at the end of the half, they got it back on track. They were shooting pretty well, 52% from the floor, 35% from beyond the arc, and Harden had 17. As for the Raptors, who started off again red hot, they were 4 for 4 from 3 to start, and they were shooting 80% through most of the first quarter. Came down a little bit, like mid-70s, but they shot 52% at the end of the first half and finished the game right around there as well. But that number from beyond the arc was the one that killed the Clippers tonight, 52% and 51% from the floor for the Raptors. The Clippers could not shoot the ball from deep, 9 of 28 for 32%, and they finished 46% from the floor. And when you look at the 2 leading scorers in the game for the Clippers tonight, Harden and Leonard, Kawhi was 6 of 18 and James Harden 7 of 20 from beyond the arc. They collectively made 3 threes on 14 looks. 3 of 14 from downtown for those guys. Amir Coffey a little better at 2 of 5, and Harden and Leonard combined from the floor 13 of 38. That is not good enough. That is not going to get it done. Early in the game, though, I thought it was nice the way they were finding Zoo in the paint. They were getting good looks for Zoo. He was making dunks, the left-handed floater, taking care of business. But in the end, 7 of 11, good percentage, but only 18 points. So I didn't think that would be something that they could do for the entire game. They were going to need to find something else. And ultimately, they just never did. Here are some of the best buckets of the night in the bucket list. For number 5, Coffey had a corner 3 at the 4:32 mark of the first. His first shot of the night, his first basket of the night. It tied the game at 21. For number 4, Terrence Mann hit a 3 straight away, dribbling around a defender off of a pick, got the open look, and hit it to tie the game at 41. For number 3, Coffey to Terrence Mann on a break. Nice dunk by Terrence Mann at the 4:04 mark. Clippers had the lead there in the second, 51-50. Nick Batum got hot in the third, hit a 3 at the 2:28 mark, and then another one at the 3-second mark of the third. But at this point, it was kind of out of hand. 92-77 Raptors were leading. And for number 1, Kawhi hit his only 3 of the night at the 7:55 mark of the fourth. It brought the Clippers to within 10. But then shortly after that, he got fouled. He was getting fouled a lot tonight. Did you notice that? He was just not getting calls, getting pushed all over the place. He finally got one call, went to the line, and missed both of them. Just like, oh, God. Could this get any worse? I mean, when Kawhi's missing free throws, you know that you are in trouble, and the fouls are not going his way. I mean, he's a star. He deserves those calls. He usually gets them. Harden wasn't getting them a lot either. Harden to the line tonight 9 times, was perfect, 9 of 9. He had 3 fouls himself, but cleaned it up in the second half. Batum, 3 of 4 from beyond the arc for 11 points. Kevin Porter Jr., a really, really nice game, which we'll talk about after the break. It's the Locked On Clippers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. Today's episode of the Locked On Clippers postcast brought to you by Prize Picks. Well, basketball season is rolling along, and there's no better way to get in on the action than with Prize Picks, the best place to play DFS, daily fantasy sports. With over 10 million members and billions in awarded winnings, Prize Picks makes it easy and fun to turn your sports knowledge into real money. Here's how it works. Just pick 2 or up to 6 players from 2 separate teams, and you pick more or less on their projections. And if you hit 4 that are high odds selections, you can win up to 1,000 times your cash. Of course, Super Bowl a week from today, and there's nothing that makes the Super Bowl more interesting and fun than getting some action in on the game. So download the app today and use the code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. The code LOCKEDONNBA, LOCKEDON NBA, for $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. So the Clippers fall at the end of this road trip, 115-108 on a day when we're all kind of talking about Luka to the Lakers. That's going to be interesting to see how that plays out for sure. Hopefully he's there on Tuesday when the Clippers head over to crypto to take on the Clips, or take on the Lakers. Second time this season they are matching up. Correction. Not at crypto. I thought since the last one was at Intuit, this one would be at crypto. No, they're playing, looks like 2-2. So they'll play this one at Intuit Tuesday at 7 on TNT. And then probably, I would assume, head to crypto for the final 2 matchups of the season. So maybe we'll get a look at Luka, and hopefully the Clippers will show up with a different level of intensity and a different focus and a different intent on winning. Tonight, though, really liked what I saw from Kevin Porter Jr. You know, he's been kind of up and down. He has his moments. Tonight, he really had the mid-range working, athletic baskets, 6 of 8 to start, which is perfect. Just about, I mean, not literally, but what you like to see. And finished tonight with 17 points. He put up his first 10 in just 7 minutes off of the bench. So he had it rolling, and he's a big part of this team coming off the bench. And when a guy like Norm Powell is out, you need that from him. So it was good that he showed up. It's good that he posted and took care of his business tonight. 8 of 13 when it was all said and done. 17 points, 5 assists. So not only was he scoring, he was facilitating. He had 7 rebounds, a plus minus in a loss of +1. So that was good to see from Kevin Porter Jr. Again, Batum off the bench with 11. Terrence Mann also had a very nice night, 3 of 6, 1 of 2 with 7 points, with 6 boards in the loss. And Kobe Brown got on the scorer sheet, but just with a bunch of zeros. So the bench was a little bit tighter tonight, probably because Mo Bamba was gone and Norm Powell was out, and that's all they really needed. Zubac's 40 minutes. Wow. 7 of 11, perfect at the line, 18 points, 8 rebounds. So no double-double tonight. Led the team in plus minus with +10. So anytime you can have a plus in a loss, that's kind of a big deal. Amir Coffey had a ugly night in that department, -18. So not doing a lot of defending. And that kind of goes to my point tonight, that they, or today rather, I don't know if it drives you crazy when it's a day game and dork announcers like myself are saying nighttime, but we're just so used to it. It drives me crazy. I try to incorporate the day as much as I can, and I feel like I'm probably at about 40% on that today. Right up there with the Clippers shooting, just acceptable, not great. But the thing that was cool about tonight was today, Clippers went on some runs. If they could have gotten a little bit of shooting out of Kawhi and or James Harden, something a little better than what we got, I think this game would have been more interesting. I feel like they would have had a shot. They went on a nice run in the second, 11-3, but then they turned around in the third quarter and just absolutely left the barn door open, not defending the break, missing shots, those shots turning into easy looks for the Raptors, and the Raptors just weren't missing. Again, shooting over 50% from beyond the arc, while Kawhi and Harden were 13 of 38. So just couldn't find the bottom. I don't know if it was tired legs or just no desire. And Kawhi has a very, very respectable record against the Raptors. This is only his third loss versus what was the number? 12, 13 wins in that neighborhood. So kind of surprising. And the Clippers also very, very good this season at getting the job done against sub 500 teams, inferior opponents, 16-3 coming into this one. So when it was all said and done, now 16-4 versus inferior sub 500 opponents. But the Raptors, as I said, going in the right direction. They've now won 8 of their last 10 and playing some good basketball. And they're not even 100%. Scotty Barnes, a really nice performance, 15 points, perfect from beyond the arc, 2 threes, 50% from the floor, 6 of 12. RJ Barrett also had a nice night, 9 of 21 for 20 points with 7 assists and 6 rebounds. Quickly 17 points, 17 minutes, scoring 11 points. That was very efficient. And Grady Dick played well, 7 of 9 from the floor in 33 minutes, a couple of threes for 18 points as the Raptors get their 16th win of the season, beating the Clippers 115-108. As I said, off tomorrow, back to work on Tuesday at Intuit against the Lakers, where we will hopefully get a look at LeBron and Luka, the L&L duo. I'm Pete Fox. It's the Locked On Clippers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Thank you for listening. And of course, thanks for downloading the podcast and favoriting us here on YouTube. You can find us on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel or the Locked On Clippers podcast feed. We come on after the game and break it down for you. Take care. Have a good night. We'll talk on Tuesday.